11.1 Bridget Smith 1,
It's raining again. I wish it wasn't.
2,
I'm not going out tonight. I wish I was.
3,
There's nothing good on TV. I wish there was.
4,
I don't like my job. I wish I did.
5,
My boyfriend and I had a row. I wish we hadn't.
6,
I know he won't call me today. I wish he would.
7,
I feel really depressed. I wish I didn't.
8,
I can't talk to anyone about it. I wish I could.
11.2 If only 1,
Look, I know I shouldn't have parked here, but I was only gone 5 minutes.
You can't park here for even 1 minute, and I've already done the ticket.
Surely you could cancel it if you wanted to.
Impossible. Once it's in the system, you can't do anything about it. Machine won't let you.
But I had to nip into the chemist's for my mother's prescription. Supposing your mother needed some medicine urgently, where would you park?
I tell you what, if I had £1 for every story of getting medicine for sick relatives, I'd be richer than Bill Gates. Here's your ticket. You've got 2 weeks to pay.
2,
Sorry, Daisy. I can't come out tonight. I really shouldn't have gone out last night.
But Chloe, we had a great time. That was one hell of a party.
Yes, I know, but...
So when's your exam?
It's tomorrow afternoon. That's why it's desperate. Oh, if only I hadn't left all my revision till the last minute again.
Oh, I wouldn't worry if I were you. You never do badly in exams.
There's always a first time.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I'd rather you came with us, though. Still, good luck tomorrow anyway.
3,
Wow, that photo on your screensaver looks gorgeous. Where is it?
It's Thailand. I was there 2 years ago.
Oh, if only we could be there now. That would be amazing.
Yeah, just imagine. I'd go for a swim in that fabulous blue sea and then spend the afternoon reading a novel.
I'd just sleep on the beach. I'm suffering from sleep deprivation. I've been working so late recently, I can't switch off at night.
Yeah, me too. I sometimes wish I'd never accepted that promotion. Still, it'll pay for a nice holiday.
Yeah, in Thailand.
4,
Come on, Oscar. Try and get past me. Oh, don't you wish you still played football, Dad? You were in the pub team, weren't you?
Yeah, but I'm too old for it now. And I was never that good anyway. You were, though. I've always said you could have gone professional if you'd wanted to.
Nah, no way. I bet I wasn't as good as Oscar is. It is time I did a bit more exercise, though. And Oscar is through the defence. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper and... goal! What a strike!
He is good.
5,
Cool! Look at that jet! Look how fast it's going! Wow, what would you give to be a pilot?
Yeah! Imagine if your job was flying jet planes.
Well, if I was rich, I'd buy my own private jet plane and fly it just for fun. Or I might buy a massive yacht with a helicopter on it.
Wow!
Which would you buy if you had all the money in the world and you can't have both? You have to choose.
I wouldn't buy either of those. I'd buy a rocket and be an astronaut.
11.3. 1,
Look, I know I shouldn't have parked here, but I was only gone 5 minutes. Surely you could cancel it if you wanted to. Supposing your mother needed some medicine urgently, where would you park?
2,
I really shouldn't have gone out last night. If only I hadn't left all my revision till the last minute again.
I wouldn't worry if I were you. I'd rather you came with us, though.
3,
If only we could be there now. That would be amazing. I'd just sleep on the beach.
I sometimes wish I'd never accepted that promotion.
4,
Don't you wish you still played football, Dad?
I've always said you could have gone professional if you'd wanted to.
It is time I did a bit more exercise, though.
5,
Wow! What would you give to be a pilot?
Yeah, imagine if your job was flying jet planes.
Which would you buy if you had all the money in the world?
I wouldn't buy either of those. I'd buy a rocket and be an astronaut.
11.4. Wishes and regrets. 1,
I wish I spoke English fluently.
I wonder what you mean by fluently. I think you speak it really well.
2,
If only we had a garden.
I know. Still, at least the park isn't far away.
3,
I wish I had a brother or sister.
Yeah, mind you, there are times when I wish I didn't.
4,
If you talked more slowly, I might be able to follow you.
Sorry, I'm just very stressed about all this.
5,
I wouldn't get up at 6 if I didn't have to go to work.
You need to look for another job. Long commutes are a nightmare.
6,
If I'd learnt to ski when I was younger, I'd be really good by now.
But you are good. You're just a bit lacking in confidence.
7,
My youngest daughter wishes she were taller.
Oh, well, she's still got a lot of growing to do.
8,
I wish you wouldn't leave the top off the toothpaste.
Sorry, I'm either half asleep or only half awake when I clean my teeth.
9,
I'd rather my sister asked before borrowing my clothes.
Well, she should. It's a bit of a cheat to take them without you knowing.
10,
Supposing they gave you a pay rise, would you still leave?
I guess it would depend on just how much they gave me.
11,
We should have read the instructions more carefully.
Well, they weren't exactly clear, were they?
12,
It's time we had a break.
You're not kidding. Oh, I could murder a coffee.
11.5. Expressions with if. 1,
How's it going?
OK. If all goes well, we'll be finished by Friday. We've just got to do the ceilings and then put the finishing touches to the doors and windows.
2,
You should have come to Joe's party. That girl you fancy was there.
Oh, if only I'd known. I've been trying to get to speak to her for ages.
3,
If you've got a minute, could I have a word with you?
Yes. If it's about the money I owe you, I'll have it for you next week.
4,
Owen is 18. He'll be fine travelling around Asia on his own. Stop worrying.
Easy for you to say. If anything bad happened to him, I'd never forgive myself.
5,
Give Jeff a promotion. If you ask me, he should be sacked.
Oh, I think you're being too hard on him. He deserves a chance to prove himself.
6.
It was the 13th of April, not the 14th, if I remember rightly.
Oh, don't be so pedantic. I was only telling them what a romantic day out we'd had.
7.
You think I'd follow your advice? As if...
Please yourself, but your older sister knows a lot more about the world than you do.
8.
If the worst comes to the worst, we can always postpone it.
No, it's just a bad cold. I think I'll feel better in a couple of days and the sea air will do me good.
9.
I don't see the point of us moving offices.
I agree. There'd be few advantages, if any at all.
10.
What did you make of Melissa's brother? He seemed pretty cold and arrogant to me.
I don't think he's cold or arrogant. If anything, he's a bit shy.
11.6. Dream Discoveries.
And now for our popular science slot. This week, the subject is dreams. We all love to tell people when we've had strange dreams. They can be funny, bizarre, and sometimes embarrassing. But did you know how many important discoveries and ideas are the result of dreams? Scientist Susan Williams has been doing some research into this, and she's here today to tell us about it. Susan, welcome. So, what are some of these dream discoveries?
Well, a famous example is James Watson, the Nobel Prize-winning American scientist. He said that the idea for the possible structure of DNA came to him after having a dream about a spiral staircase. Neuroscientists suggest that this kind of thing can happen because during REM sleep, we dream extra vividly, and new connections can be formed in the brain's network, so we are able to put ideas together in a way that would never have occurred to us when we're awake.
That's really interesting. What other examples are there?
Another very famous but very different example from many years ago is a young woman who had a dream about the mystery of human biology. She was called Mary Wollstonecraft, and in June 1816 she was still a teenager when she and her future husband, the poet Percy Shelley, visited another poet, Lord Byron, in Switzerland. One day it was too stormy to go out walking, so they all sat around in the library and read ghost stories to each other. They then decided to have a contest to see who could write the best ghost story. Mary struggled to find an idea, but then, that night, in a dream, she saw a vision of a man, a scientist, kneeling beside a monstrous body that he had created. It was a nightmare. The body began to come to life. Mary woke up. She was very frightened, but also delighted because at last she had her idea. "I have found it," she wrote, "and what terrified me will terrify others." Of course, it turned out to be a lot more than a story to share with friends. Mary's novel, Frankenstein, was published on the 1st of January 1818, when she was still only 20, and it is often described as the very first science fiction novel. I think the title of the book confuses many people, though. Frankenstein isn't the monster. Its creator is.
Yes, I believe that's a common mistake. So, tell me, are most dream discoveries rather dark and serious?
No, not at all. You know Paul McCartney, one of the Beatles? For me, the most famous pop group ever. Well, one morning in 1963, Paul woke up with a melody for a song in his head. It was fully formed and he thought, That's great. I wonder what that is. He thought it must be something he'd heard somewhere and played it on the piano to people to see if they recognised it. No one did, so it was clearly his own composition. But he never felt like he'd written it because it had come ready-made in a dream, and it wasn't like anything he'd written before. No lyrics had come in the dream, and whenever he played it, he sang the words, "Scrambled eggs, oh my baby, how I love your legs." Imagine if he'd left it like that. In fact, this is a good example of how unconscious inspiration can still need some conscious work putting in, because it was 2 years before Paul had the lyrics right and recorded the finished song. He called it Yesterday, and it was a huge hit. In fact, it has been voted the #1 pop song of all time.
I've always loved that song. What about a final example, Susan?
OK, this time on a sporting note. From one of the greatest pop songwriters to one of the greatest golfers, Jack Nicklaus. He has told how he managed to get out of a losing run of games by paying attention to a dream. In 1962, aged 22, Jack won the US Open and then 2 more major world championships in 1963. However, in 1964, his form had dropped and he won none. One morning, he remembered he'd been dreaming about playing golf and he had played really well. So he tried to remember exactly what he'd done in the dream and how it had felt. He realised that he'd been holding his golf club differently, and he wondered what would happen if he tried holding it the same way, for real, on the golf course that day. So that's what he did, and to his surprise and delight, he played a wonderful round, and soon returned to his championship-winning form.
Thank you very much indeed, Susan. That's all fascinating. So maybe some of our dreams aren't just weird stories to tell friends. And maybe it would be worth keeping a notepad on your bedside table. But do make sure you write something you can read the next day.
.7 Linking sounds.
Sink or swim.
Ifs or buts.
Wait and see.
Far and wide.
Give and take.
Once and for all.
Hit and miss.
Short and sweet.
Ins and outs.
By and large.
11.8 Word pairs. 1,
There has to be some give and take in any relationship. You can't have your own way all the time.
2,
I had no experience when I set up my first business and I got no help. It was sink or swim.
3,
I don't want to hear any ifs or buts from you. It's time for bed now.
4,
I hope your presentation doesn't go on too long.
Oh, don't worry. It's short and sweet. It'll be over in no time.
5,
It's difficult to explain the ins and outs of the rules of cricket. They're very complicated.
6,
What have you got me for my birthday?
You'll have to wait and see, won't you?
7,
There are some things I'd change about my workplace, but by and large it's very pleasant.
8,
People come from far and wide to shop in Bicester Village. It's the second most popular destination in the UK for Chinese tourists after Buckingham Palace.
9,
Is the food good in that restaurant?
It's a bit hit and miss. I've had some great meals there and some really poor ones.
10,
It's time we settled this argument once and for all. Let's Google it and see who's right.
11.9. Wait and see.
Are you having a holiday this year?
Oh, I'd love to, but we'll have to wait and see.
Hopefully we're going to go to that farmhouse in Devon again in September. It'll only be for a few days, so it'll be short and sweet, but it's still touch and go whether I can get the time off work.
Why's that? I thought they were good about giving you time off.
Yeah, they are by and large, but we're a small firm and we have to cover for each other, so it's always a case of give and take.
Yeah, that figures. At least you and Sophie have had a holiday this year. I'm sick and tired of not being able to go anywhere.
You still get away now and then, don't you?
Actually, it's more then than now. It's too expensive to take 3 kids abroad.
What's wrong with holidays here?
Oh, it's not easy when the weather's so hit and miss. Me and Charlotte used to have holidays in the UK, rain or shine. But it's no fun keeping kids happy if the weather's rubbish. You certainly don't get much peace and quiet.
Well, look, if we can get to that farmhouse, why don't you join us? We can help look after the kids.
Whoa, that's a kind offer, but I wouldn't want to spoil your holiday. I mean, what if they...
Honestly, I mean it, so no ifs or buts. I know Sophie would love to spend some time with your kids.
Well, thank you so much. I'll talk to Charlotte about it if you're sure.
I am, so do that. I'm sure we'd have a great time together.
11.10. Linking words.
Did you see the match last night?
No, apparently it was a great game though. Liverpool won, didn't they?
Actually, it was a draw, but it was really exciting.
11.11. 4 conversations. 1.
What do you think of Claire's new boyfriend?
Personally, I think he's really nice, but I know her dad's dead against him. Still, he's never been happy with her boyfriends.
I know. Surely he's got to accept one of them eventually. Anyway, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
2.
How can you afford to buy all these new clothes?
Apparently, I'm going to get a big bonus this month. At least that's what my boss has told me, and I do deserve one. After all, I earned the company £100,000 last month.
3.
So, Mark, you say this is your last concert tour?
Definitely.
But surely you realise how upset your fans are going to be?
Well, obviously, I don't want to disappoint anyone, but basically I'm sick and tired of touring. Ideally, I'd like to spend more time in the studio and record some great music for my fans.
4.
Why do you think our sales are so low this year?
Basically, I think our prices are too high. We could certainly sell a lot more if they weren't. Ideally, they should be lower.
If you ask me, our marketing team aren't good enough.
That's true. All the same, it's our prices that people complain about, and marketing can't do much about that.